Alright, what's going on, guys? Here, my name is Spence, and today we're going to be going over 10 things only OG Fortnite players know about. Now, the time range I'm talking about is like when you started playing, basically when Battle Royale came out around September-ish, all the way up to like early 2018. I'd call you a OG. I started playing, I think one of my first games was in November or late October, right when it came out, and I was like, nah, this game's
stupid. Oh my god, I would never play this.
Next thing you know, we're in 2019 and I'm still playing it. I actually was trying to play like Black Ops 4 back then, and nobody would play with me because they were playing Fortnite. I was so mad, but then I converted and I got addicted. Regardless though, comment down below when you started playing, just the year you started playing, or like the month you started playing if you're like that, if you know. If you know, tell me. But otherwise than that, let's go ahead and get on into it. Okay, so for our first one, if you know anything about the early Fortnite days, you knew how valuable supply drops were. The care packages, or anything you want to call them, were extremely valuable in the game because just like that kind of loot was super hard to come around. You didn't see the gold snipers, you never saw the gold scars. Gold was like gold. I mean, it took some effort to get gold. I remember seeing it, I was like, thank you. Thank you. You rock. Oh my god. But whenever you saw like a supply drop coming down, if you were a bad player, you go avoid that. But if you were a good player, you would go for it. And then you would see a ton of people, pretty much anyone that was in near the vicinity or even that could see where the supply drop was coming, they would be darting to it. And you would have huge battles of like 4 or 5 squads all going for this one supply drop. Nowadays, it's like you don't even see them. I mean, they just kind of like sit around and like, oh hey, there's a supply drop over there, because loot is so easy to come around. The value on loot back then was extremely so upscale compared to what it is now. I mean, if you got a gold scar, you were literally thought you were gonna win the game. I remember back when like probably November-ish when I first started playing and hated confrontation. I know I was a pussy. I would see a supply drop and I'd be on the other side of the map by then. I'd be like, I'll get the out of there. It's just funny to see how much different it is. I mean, there's so much gold. If you don't have gold by like, halfway through the game now, then you're like, what are you doing?
You stupid looter.
For our second one, we're gonna go with something that you still hear talked about, but it doesn't happen at all anymore. Bush campers. There used to be like 5 or 6, even like, quite a few bush campers every single game. I can admit, when I discovered a bush, I was like, my whole squad was gone. I wasn't about to do squad wipes. I couldn't even build. So I saw this bush and I realized I could get in it. I was like, oh my god. And I would wait out the whole game in a damn bush. Everyone was like,
oh my god, dude, he is breaking the game. He's in a bush.
I swear, watching streamers, like 5 out of 10 times, half the time, you would see the last guy and he'd be just searching in a bush. And you'd have to find him in the bush. It was like doing like Battleship, just looking for him. That was a really easy kill too for some people. If they were actually pretty good, they just shoot at a bush because it's kind of obvious to see, and then bam, guy's dead. I think it's been months since the last time I've seen an actual person hiding in a bush. Everyone is just full on attack mode at each other, and it's like 2 cars colliding. It used to be like someone was like sniffing them out. He brought the dogs on you. If you lost your squad back then and you couldn't build, you might as well just bush up and then just like try to shoot someone. I mean, building wasn't really a thing at the start of Fortnite. It was just like put up a wall maybe to defend yourself and then shoot the guy. It wasn't what it is by any stretch of the imagination now. That leads into our third one, and the point of building was completely different. Probably the first 4 months of Fortnite, especially for the common folk.
That's common folk.
Ninja and all them, they changed the game by just being able to, build other than what normal people did. I think this is what Fortnite really intended it on being, was just you made big forts. I remember we would farm tons and tons of wood, brick, whatever we could find, try to get 999 of everything. And me and my squad mates, me and my friends would make the biggest forts possible. And if you would see like the final later rounds, it wasn't people rushing up to each other. It was just a bunch of people from everywhere like posted up in their forts shooting at each other. And it was considered like,
oh my god, look at that guy's fort, it's huge.
I mean, it was like HGTV right here, like welcome to my crib, MTV, how complex people got. You would like edit them to like have like little like it just looked really cool. It was almost like Minecraft at the end of a game sometimes, because you would have like Minecraft mansion tutorials. I did like that back in the day, just seeing how big you can make a base. Nowadays, I mean, all the people have to do is they do their little, you know, their 90s and all their techniques to get right up to the base, and then you're dead. You're just dead. Porta fortresses were like basically what you saw all the time. Our fourth one, we're gonna have to go with the map locations, and if you know anything about the map, it had like near nothing. Not even Tilted was there. The most popular spot, I believe, by how many times I dropped early in that game, would have to have been Loot Lake and battling for the house. The middle house on the lake, that was the one where everyone would go to. You get like 3 squads there, 3 squads all around the Loot Lake, and then whoever got Loot Lake literally got the loot. It had like, it usually always had something gold or something purple there. Usually a scar was kind of placed around that area, and then everyone would battle around that area. The people that came out of Loot Lake were usually absolute monsters at the game at that time. Pleasant Park also had quite a bit of a following, in Greasy Grove as well. And here's one part of the map that I'm not sure you guys remember this. You guys probably do, but this was our favorite. This was my squad's favorite place to go way back in Fortnite, and that had to have been the freaking prison.
You know, we're a bunch of convicts over here. What can I say, big boy?
It was truly something to get to the prison, and then you just try to like tear down the prison, or if you could hold the prison, you'd be in like grade A okay shape. There used to be like 2 squads, maybe 3 squads that would go to the prison. It was not mentioned on the map. It didn't say the prison, but I'm sure it will come back at one point. But it's just extreme nostalgia. Whenever I see the prison, I'm like, wow, those were the days. Even though now I still have a lot of fun playing Fortnite. 5, we're just gonna go with like the atmosphere, and the atmosphere was way different. It wasn't like run and gun. Everything was like an arcade. It's not like an arcade. It's like an arcade-based game. But it used to be just extremely tense, very tactical moves. There wasn't a whole lot of movement at all the times. It was like if you were moving, you were exposed, and someone was probably gonna come up on you or take you out from their fort. It was a lot of people just posted up in forts, just ready to take each other out. Whenever the circle would come in, that's when they would move. It wasn't people just running around all the time looking for kills, until you got to like the streamers who, yeah, they did. There's a lot more passive, probably, I assume, on console, because we didn't have like, you know, Builder Pro, so we couldn't just like throw up a wall right away and throw up a ramp. You'd have to like, you know, do like the fidgeting around with your controller. It's a completely different play style. It probably wouldn't be that great now. A lot of people would just like kind of be very bored with the game, but if you're kind of into that like tactical sneaking around, just real tense environment, that was fun. I like that personally a heck of a lot. So for our 6th one, although I do like the new M16 sound. I just think it sounds way better. I did love the old Scar sound. It was just something about it. That was one of the best sounds for like any gun in any game I've ever played. I mean, I've heard some pretty good, like the ACR back in Modern Warfare 2. That was sexy. The AK-74U in Black Ops. Oh man, that was sexy. I had myself quite a time listening to a lot of those, and now it's like, you know, there's some good sounds, like, you know, the Barrett 50 cal, the heavy sniper, that's a good sound. I like the M16 sound. I like a few other sounds, but like just back then it was like that Scar sound, you know, I was like,
oh, this is amazing.
Just also like other guns in general, like the TAC sub, that gun. I know there's like a game mode that brings it back, but that was like an amazing gun to use for me. I loved that gun, even though at one point it freaking sucked, but it did get bugged for a little bit, and that was nice. The elimination feed and the knockdown feed, I like that way better. I think that was like, it just looks better. It just kind of like glides on in. Now it's like a real cartoony kind of thing. There's something about it I don't like compared to the old one. And I'm usually pretty innovative. Like, I like the new stuff that comes out, but this one, the Scar sound and that, they just needed to keep it the way it was. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. One thing I don't miss though is how overpowered the RPG was. Way back then, if you had an RPG, you could kill anyone. It doesn't matter how good they were. As long as you shot them in the kind of like, you know, in the same zip code, you basically had the kill. That used to frustrate me, dying so much to RPGs late game. Our 7th one, it was actually weird to have skins at one point. You know, if you were a default, you were considered one of the normies. But if you were like a guy who had like a skin, I would call you a tryhard who pays money for a free game. I was like,
loser!
Nowadays, if you don't have a skin, you're pretty much like the past, like I'd say about Battle Pass 3 was when everyone started getting the Battle Pass and started getting skins. I think my first skin was the Love Ranger, which is still my signature go-to skin. I love that skin. I love that skin so much. I just wish they didn't release it so much because there's a lot of people who have variant of the Love Ranger. Wish they did like serial tags. See like when you got it. I got it probably like 1,000 of, you know, something. Number 8 was friendly fire used to be a thing, and God, I have a story for that, and all I'm gonna say is it was annoying, but it was hilarious at the same time. We used to shoot each other and get really mad at each other and shoot each other more. But if you want to see some of the funnier moments, it was when there was this one time where one of my friends, he was so bad at the game, like incredibly awful, like one of the still the worst player I've ever seen in my life. I got downed in the White House over at what is it called? What is it? Fatal Fields, and that's a place. And my buddy got down, and we thought, wow, these guys are gods. They headshotted us. Well, it turns out our buddy was behind us trying to shoot the other guys, but instead he killed us both. No. After that, I don't think we ever played with him again, so that's your punishment. Also, it made like, you know, you had to know where your teammates were because there was like a hesitation to shoot them, and sometimes you would not shoot the enemy because you thought it was your teammate. You don't want to shoot your teammate. Guess it made it more tactical in a certain sense. For our 9th one, if you guys know about this, it's alexramigaming was once one of the guys with the most Fortnite wins ever. For like I saw like 2 or 3 months, he wasn't like a great player at all. He actually got a lot of flack for the way he played. Posted up a lot and then just did like real sneaky things to win. Even like bush camped on like the outer edge of the map. But he was considered at one point the guy who had the most wins in Fortnite, and he had a massive stream. Like a lot of people watched him. I watched him occasionally just to see, like, you know, because even if he wasn't like a god at the game, he did help you if you wanted to get wins. The reason why he had so many wins, he just knew how to win. So for our 10th one, we're gonna have to go with Christmas trees. And if you guys remember Christmas trees,
Them hoes were amazing.
they'd have like 3 chests right around them, and that was like an anomaly, having 3 chests around anything. So when you went through like a Christmas tree, I think this was like 2017 going into 2018, having a Christmas tree was like, you know, like hitting the godsend, hitting the jackpot. There used to always be this one in, I want to say it was Lonely Lodge. There would always be like 2 or 3 people around these Christmas trees. So if you remember Christmas trees, comment down below, because that one's one that I was like, wow, you thought you did well, Spence, thinking about that one. All right, guys, I want to thank you all for taking the time out of the day to watch my content. It did go a little longer than I thought, but you know, when I get reminiscent, I get talking a lot. Hopefully you guys did enjoy that, and I do like talking about old Fortnite, even though the new Fortnite is really good as well. I still have a lot of fun playing it. So regardless though, thank you all so much for taking the time. I think I just said that. Go ahead, comment down below when you started Fortnite. I'll see you guys next time. Later.